to do. If you have a quick one. Sir, you've already had, I understand that you want to, make another statement. But
Only take 2 seconds.
You can have my spot, ma'am.
Okay. All right, but 2 seconds is there, and then we're going to take, then we're going to be through and take a break.
I respectfully disagree that the answer to this question does not happen in this room. Since you all took an oath, you decided to authorize the funding, therefore you are the final arbitrators to this decision, no matter what laws are written anywhere. If you feel you want to authorize it, that's up to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to appreciate
For the
Representative Babson, and then we'll go to the chief, and then we'll take a break.
For the record, Madam Chairman, don't the commissioners okay the grant, not us?
The grant is under the decision of the commissioners. We have talked about it and said they're the ones that approve the grants. The department heads have to go through them. It is not something that we as delegation members say yes or no to on the grants. It is a process that the commissioners do. And Chief, one more, and then thank you very much for your.
I just, in defense of law enforcement, I don't know that law enforcement in any way is trying to usurp the Constitution. We believe in the Constitution as strong as anybody in this room. We potentially will give our lives for the Constitution. So any, issue that says we don't believe in the citizens' rights, I don't really go with that. So, but beyond that, the Fourth Amendment is what dictates searches. And again, if you get well into the law, this is not a search. Beyond that, the 10th Amendment allows states to make laws that they think fit their state. This state passed a law for this reason, because the general will of the people was exercised, and the people of New Hampshire told their law enforcement officials, we want you to do these things, we're passing the law. So the people of New Hampshire, the Constitution is the foundation of all our laws. Beyond that, all our laws are built like a house, squarely on top of the Constitution. The people of New Hampshire enacted this law and asked us to do this. We're not sneaking around the barn.
And I want to thank you for your explanation, for the education, for everyone's comments and their statements on this. And thank you, Sheriff, for setting it up and having them. And all of you police officers and Chief, thank you very much for coming. Okay, let's take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back.
Thanks for being here.
I got that. For you? Oh, thank you.
How are you?
265. Let's get going on our first quarter again. If we now go into page 10, we stop with extension, cooperative extension. And I do want to again say that there will be a public hearing on cooperative extension tonight, 6 o'clock here. And Representative McConkey will be chairing that. So any questions on cooperative extension? They're at 25% for as of March 31st, 2011. Yes.
I don't know if it's a question, but 25% is where they're supposed to be, and that's exactly the number they came out with.
Yes, because they get a check 4 times a year.
4 times a year.
Is that what it is?
That's what they do.
Okay, so they did, okay.
That's exactly how they do it.
So you don't know that's what they spent, you just know that's the money they got?
That's what the county did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Interest expense?
You had a question?
Yes. Go ahead, Representative Babson, and who else?
Well, if it's coming in from the county, it's revenue. What this shows is that they're right on the money. They have their own expenses.
Who? Are you talking about UNH?
Cooperative extension.
Oh, you're talking, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
The other question I had is, the sheriff, you indicated that he wasn't prepared to answer the questions? When will he be?
I'm going to, Representative Umberger, you did have a discussion with the sheriff, and you want to say what it is that we came out with.
I had sent down several questions in regards to the sheriff's office. He indicated that within the next several days, he would have written answers to those questions. And if you would, if you have some questions that you want asked, if you tell me, I'll get them off to him. Or
Okay.
you can send them to him and say, make sure you answer these as well.
Yeah.
But
I do know that we did not take, we did not note any percentages either in the sheriff's department or dispatch, and when Representative Berger talked with him, he is not ready to answer our questions, so undoubtedly we'll get it either in August or we'll get it before that. If the sheriff doesn't have answers, I don't think it's a good idea, but he doesn't have answers.
Thank you.
And the subcommittee on the sheriff's department is Representative Umberger is the chair, Representative McConkey, Patton, Schmidt, and McCarthy. Anybody else that wants to be there, we should get that accounting soon, and hopefully we'll have that for the August meeting. Yes, go ahead, Representative.
I just find it difficult that he wouldn't know. Extraditions is $1,500, and he spent $3,100. It would seem to me it would be pretty evident where the money went to.
Representative Babson, if he doesn't have an answer, I can't squeeze it out of him.
Well, he didn't know what the question was.
Well, apparently he didn't want to stay and answer it. Representative McCarthy, and then Representative McConkey.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I might not be the appropriate time to bring it up, but you know, as far as that sheriff's budget goes, as we all know, he does not come under the umbrella of the Teamsters contract relative to clothing, uniform allowances. I asked the chairman of the commissioners if they had a special deal worked out where the sheriff did get funds for uniforms or whatever, and I was told no. But yet he admitted purchasing $200 worth of boots, a pair of boots and gloves, utilizing the county's credit card. And his answer was, well, I don't wear them in church. Well, nobody expected him to wear them in church. And still, that doesn't give him any authority to spend county money. I think that he ought to come up and show us where he got the authority to spend that money on personal items, and if not, reimburse the county for the cost of those items.
Representative Umberger, and then we'll go to Representative McConkey. Excuse me, I know your mouth is full.
Okay. Just for, obviously, well, you all have my questions, so you know which one's what I was asking about, so. If you have other things that you want to.
And we want to have a question on his clothing. And I think that what we have to do is, you know, if he's not going to stay here or not give us the answers or not have them, then we'll wait and get them when he has them. There isn't anything else that I can do about that, Representative McConkey and then Representative.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the commissioners, if I could, it's my understanding with the cooperative extension that part of their source funding comes from the state university system. Part of it is shared by us with housing expense. I believe it's my understanding that their appropriation from the state has been cut. It's my understanding that it was cut significantly. Is that going to play into our proposed budget for this year, or is that income that they won't have for next year?
I believe it's income they won't have for next year.
Okay, so their funding source, if I could follow up, is perfectly solid for this year from the state.
I can't say that for sure.
But your understanding it is.
My understanding it is, yeah.
Okay.
I think they're on it's either a July 1 year.
Probably on July 1st.
It's different than ours, I know
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, Representative Batson.
Thank you. Madam Chairman, I don't know whether the ladies in the legislature received the same email that we did, but we got one saying that we had to wear a coat and tie to the legislature. And that's every bit as much of a uniform as the sheriff's, and nobody's paying for our dry cleaning, and I think that ought to be stopped also.
That's probably why you should go to the subcommittee meeting, talk to the subcommittee chair. At the moment, we're not going to be able to do anything about the budget. We're here for issues, the budget, get all of the questions ready, so when we come, if we don't like the sheriff's budget and clothing, take the amount of money that he spent this year on his clothing and take it out of his budget, just as we did the last time around when the shotguns were in the dispatch budget. Remember? We took that money away. So that is the way to deal with it after we have approved. And as an elected official, I would, that there's just nothing else that I can say about that. We're not doing a revised budget at the moment. If anybody else have any questions on extension? Okay, Commissioner Sorensen.
Just a comment on the sheriff's budget. Hopefully next Wednesday, when our third commissioner is back from vacation, we'll take some action on how, if he spends, or if anybody, campus-wide, we gotta do it uniformly. Anybody spends over $1,000 in a line item has to come to the commissioners to get the okay to do that. Second point I'd like to make is that I guess the question has come up regarding Dave Meyer's time in computers versus regular duty. We have the timesheets in our office, and we will have them available for Wednesday's commissioners' meetings, and you can have them available for August 22nd meeting as to the time spent in each of the two different areas. Okay.
Okay. Well,
yes, Representative.
the sheriff is reporting on that in September at our subcommittee meeting, and we wanted to have, that's all part of the whole discussion about the sheriff's and reorganization and where we're going to go with the sheriff's department. So that will be looked at in detail in September.
So I get your questions about the sheriff's and what's going on, and I want to acknowledge that Representative McCarthy has gotten a answer from the commissioners about how and when on the spending. This policy that you're putting in essence has been kind of brought to the forefront because of your issues that you have been talking about, and I want to thank you, and I think that the commissioners also are doing a job that they want. We have not usually had a problem with $1,000 and over, but apparently it is becoming an issue, so it is good to have that control that the commissioners would do, and thank you for doing that. Ms. Ayton.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
On that respect, I wasn't present when any of that discussion was, but I have a lot of my monthly bills that are over $1,000. You mean every time we're over, we've got...
You go and talk to the commissioners. It's their policy. I don't have any idea.
Come talk to us Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's go now. Are we all through with extension?
Thank you. One other question. I don't see anyone here from the extension right now. We've had a question. I've had a question on the rent schedule, and I know that Ms. Hamilton's been working on this as to their present rent and allocations that we're going for maintenance, heat, snow removal, trash, and so forth. Do the commissioners have a breakdown of where that is and how much of that $400 or $40,000 a year figure is actually attributed to the envelope for space?
No. We'll have that for you on August 22nd.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to go forward with the interest expense, or do we want to talk about anything else? Interest expense, there is 0%. So apparently, I'm not going to say that they're not doing their job.
Oh, no, it's the payments aren't due until like June, July, August.
Yeah. So as of the 31st, they're at 0%. Long-term debt,